In recent weeks, the political landscape surrounding the Caribbean islands has been shaken by threats from the United States regarding their medical agreements with Cuba. This situation raises critical concerns about the implications for public health, diplomatic relations, and regional autonomy. Cuban medical professionals, including doctors and nurses, have been instrumental in providing essential healthcare support to Caribbean nations, especially during the unprecedented challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Their contributions have undoubtedly helped these islands cope with the crisis, often filling gaps that local healthcare systems struggle to address. The assistance from Cuba extends beyond the Caribbean. The nation has also extended its medical outreach to countries such as Italy, highlighting its commitment to global health solidarity. Yet, amidst this humanitarian exchange, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, an individual of Cuban heritage with a personal vendetta against the Cuban government, has chosen to intervene in a manner that threatens the Caribbean's access to these vital medical services. Rubio's actions seem to be fueled more by political grievances than a genuine concern for the well-being of the region. The Caribbean islands, by opting to engage with Cuba, are not merely relying on their neighbor for support. They are making a calculated decision to enhance their healthcare capabilities through a partnership that is mutually beneficial. Moreover, the financial arrangements for Cuban doctors working in the Caribbean often yield better compensation than they would receive in their homeland. This dynamic underscores the fact that the Caribbean has become a critical partner in Cuban healthcare exports, rather than a dependency. The assertion that the Caribbean is in nobody's backyard is increasingly relevant, reminding the world that these nations have the right to forge their own paths and alliances. The United States has historically leveraged its relationship with Caribbean nations, particularly during the Cold War, to advance its geopolitical interests. However, in the current climate, the U.S. government's threats to revoke the visas of Caribbean prime ministers only serve to reinforce the impression that Washington is more interested in exerting control than fostering genuine partnerships. Such actions not only undermine the Caribbean's sovereignty, but also risk destabilizing the healthcare progress that has been made in recent years. In conclusion, the Caribbean islands deserve the autonomy to choose their partners without undue interference from the United States. The threats posed by Marco Rubio and the current U.S. administration are misguided and counterproductive. Rather than attempting to dismantle established medical agreements with Cuba, the United States ought to reconsider its approach and engage constructively with its Caribbean neighbors, supporting their right to health care and self-determination instead of imposing punitive measures that will ultimately harm the very people who rely on these crucial medical services. It is time for Rubio to keep his hands off the Caribbean and allow these nations to thrive on their own terms.